Live from somewhere they definitely shouldn't be. UK and Jaeger. Reload and reset and reset. Neon nights and radio noise. Two grown men making terrible choices. Leather boots and a barroom grin. One more round, let the chaos begin. UK shouting, turn it up. Jaeger yelling, that's not enough. Smoke and lights and a live cassette. Welcome to Reload and Reset. Oh, we ain't ever slowing down. Oh, we're gonna shake this whole damn town. Reload, everybody scream tonight. Reset, like the speakers dynamite. Hands up high, let the whole world sweat. We are Reload and Reset. Reload, turn the chaos all the way. Reset, we ain't sleeping anyway. Reload and reset. Cheap beer queens and tactical sins. Living like the 80s never ended again. Bad knees, but we still go hard like two drunk sergeants in a parking lot bar. Jaeger laughing with the 1,000-yard stare. UK screaming from a folding chair. Current events get verbally wrecked. Every episode's a train wreck. Oh, raise your glasses to the sky. Oh, we're too loud to ever die. Reload, everybody lose control. Reset, rock and roll overload. Turn it up and place your bets. Welcome to Reload and Reset. Reload, nothing left but neon lights. Reset and questionable life advice. Reload and reset. Hey, UK. Hey, Jaeger. Bad jokes, fast lives, probably getting canceled tonight. No breaks, no regrets, just reload and reset. Reload. 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 Raise your fist and shout it loud. Reset. Wake the neighbors with the crowd. One more drink and one more bet. This is Reload and Reset. Reload. Turn the madness way past 10. Reset. Do it all again and again. Reload and reset. R and R.
Hello and welcome to the first episode of R&R. I'm UK Reject.
And I'm Jaeger.
This is Reload and Reset. All right. So quick intro what we're about. It's Reload and Reset for a reason. So reloading is going to be essentially like resetting yourself, getting ready for the next engagement or challenge that life will bring for you.
W intro. Sorry, I got distracted.
What's up, Red Pop Studios?
Anyways, so and the reset portion kind of sort of couples in with the reload, really. It is about like kind of resetting your position and getting back towards what the focus was. Sometimes it just happens in life. It's going to happen to whoever you are. Doesn't matter how much money you have, what your religion is, whatever. It's going to happen where you're going to have to fall back and kind of regroup before you attack the problem again. So that's kind of what the reset part's about.
Yeah, everyone eventually takes hits, and the goal isn't to avoid them. The goal is to reload and reset and get back into the fight. Anyway, so a little bit about Jaeger.
Well, so how long did I spend? I spent 12 years. 12 years in the army, I think it was. No, it was 14. Sorry, I lied. Did 14. I was 11B, then switched to the 13 series because I thought it'd be cool to be on the other end of a call for fire, and loved it. Had a blast, pun intended. I'm a father of 4. I'm a director of finance and operations for a company, and I started streaming back in it was September, I think it was, of 22, if I'm not mistaken. But because of some things with life, which a lot of people who will be visiting us knows, I haven't really got to stream a whole lot since like the beginning of 24. So that's kind of part of the reason for the podcast too, for us to kind of get out there and people can really get to know who I am outside of just being the other guy who's doing crazy shit in UK streams.
No hair.
I didn't shave today, just a little bit.
All right, I'm UK Reject. I'm a full-time variety streamer over on Twitch. I did 7.5 years in the military, got to the rank of like sergeant, had like 3 squads underneath me. My main job in the military was fixing firearms and essentially getting people ready to deploy, making sure that all of the equipment and stuff was ready to go. Now I sell guns and I full-time stream, and hopefully we launch this podcast and it becomes like a pretty big deal and it takes up most of my time. So let's talk about how me and Jaeger met. I'll let you go on this one.
Well, okay, so my memory's kind of shit when it comes to the
I'll fill in
win
the blanks.
necessarily, but but essentially we ran into each other on I think it was Fortune's Keep, if I'm not mistaken, in Warzone back in like the end of 22 or the beginning of 23.
Yeah,
I don't remember.
It was the end of
off the top my head.
22. Yeah.
And we just kind of clicked, like oddly enough. We ran into each other like in there and just got squatted up. It was almost like it was fated to happen.
Yeah.
Really, And ever since then, like we have creepy ass fucking moments where like we'll say the exact same thing word for word. For example, there's a clip that you could see on that. But we'll say exactly the same thing, and oddly enough, if I had hair, facial, and on top of my head, I probably would have just been UK, better at English. I would.
What a cunt. What a cunt. So yeah, so like we met and like it was just we clicked. It was mostly like how we played and like how we talked immediately. It was like same sense of humor. Like occasionally I think you run across those people that like just share your sense of humor and it just kind of like clicks with you. And you just for then on you're like best friends the moment you fucking met, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
All right, so we have a few talking points on the podcast. I think like the first one we're gonna go into is gonna be about the World Cup, and I'm gonna make a quick little comment real quick too. Maybe I'll wait until after the video. You know what? I'll wait until after the video. Let's watch the video first, and then you guys will see for yourselves what I mean. Move this out of the way. Here we go.
We're back with the good stuff. If you're a tourist whose behavior makes news, it is usually bad news. You've thrown punches on a plane, you've broken a local treasure, you've bothered the local wildlife, or you've just generally made a fool of yourself very far from home. Which is why, when you first hear about Japanese soccer fans at the World Cup waving these giant blue plastic bags around, you might assume the worst. But this is not another case of soccer hooliganism or tourists gone wild, far from it. When the game is over, win or lose, or as seen here yesterday after a tie with the Netherlands, they use those blue bags to clean up the stadium, bottle by bottle, bagging trash until it's gone.
Ritual ka respect for everything, respect for the players, supporters, and also for the stadium. We're kind of honored to be here, so we don't want to make the mess and then leave it.
In fact, they've been doing it since the country's first World Cup in 1998, and the Japanese players bring a similar idea to the locker rooms, even leaving thank you notes in the local language. And the reverence, it seems, goes both ways. This is a Japanese fan being tossed up by fans of the Netherlands, celebrating him. Now, of course, Japan, like any country, has its problems, and their team is not expected to leave with a World Cup trophy. But their fans have already earned something that tourists from most countries have not: a little global respect.
So my comment is, if the world was a Lord of the Rings trilogy, the Japanese would be the high elves.
Oh my God.
Think about it though. Think about it though.
I guess.
Because
Yeah.
they're so proud, respectful, and dedicated to their craft. Out of every nationality in the world, I would say the Asian culture has the rest of the world put to shame. Like, let's be honest. When it comes to dedicating to things, like let's say robotics, like they're number one. When it comes to animated like TV shows, they're number one. There's nobody that beats them.
Yeah, and that's not even getting like this. I mean, it somewhat touches like on their culture a little bit, but like talking about like, well, I mean, think of like just football in general. I'm sorry, soccer for the Americans. Like that culture alone, like you typically find like better sportsmanship in soccer players than you do in most other, sports.
Well, yeah,
realistically,
look at all the Raiders fans spitting on of a team's fans. You know what I mean? Like,
yes, I mean, yeah. There's no need for all of that jazz. But like even like when like I don't know how many of our listeners had actually like watched any of the World Cup at all yet, but even when you like look at like the way that like Japan or even like some of the other European ones are really like they're all really heavy sportsmanship that you don't see in like basketball or American football. You might see it sometimes in baseball. I don't really know why that is, but like you see it sometimes in baseball. Just far fewer in between for every other sport than it is for soccer / American, Americans' idea of soccer.
I just think like the whole culture, like the respect they have for like elders and stuff, like bowing to elders, whether it's like a year or if you're in the military and you've been in the military longer than someone who's older than you, the older gentleman who's been in less time will usually bow to the person who is been in longer. Because they're senior in the military. It's just like a respect thing that they have.
Yeah, and I mean, but that's like carried on since for really like ever since feudal Japan, right? I mean, even before you get into feudal Japan, historically speaking, they've always been that way. We're trying to compare them to us, like in the quote unquote Western cultures.
Oh yeah.
We're very, very, very drastically different in pretty much every way. I mean, like I couldn't walk into a house in Japan still wearing my fucking shit kickers. You know what I'm saying? Like, and
Yeah.
I mean, it could. They probably wouldn't even say anything, but it would be disrespectful, to that house that's bringing you in as a guest.
It's just like I feel
and
like
that's how
I feel like in American culture, I feel like there's like next to no respect. Like I remember back when I was growing up, or there was a time when like you saw someone on the side of the road with a flat tire. Your first instinct was like, oh, I should pull over and help them. And nowadays it's like, I don't know what they're about. I'm gonna keep going. I just feel like the mutual respect thing is just kind of like went out the window.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I can't really say that it was even really ever here. Maybe like in the early stages, you know what I mean? But like you got to the point like in like the early 1800s, for example, which isn't too long after the conception of this country that we live in. But by that point, like people were just very much like, nah, like I'll help my neighbors, maybe if it serves me in some way. But it was
Yeah.
already happening. The transition had already happened.
Yeah, it's
You know
like
what I mean?
it's like what are you gonna get from it for helping someone? Whereas like Asian cultures, they just like I'm just gonna do it. I'm a
Yeah, they
huge
just
fan. I'm a huge fan of Asian cultures, by the way. Love my Korean shows, and I love feudal Japan. One of my favorite games is Shogun. So I mean, mad props to like just the Asian culture in general for just being upright citizens and stand up people with respect.
Yeah, but imagine if like the entire world just followed suit with just this one thing, where you leave wherever your country's from, going to another country, and you decide to make a point to clean up afterwards.
Yeah.
You know, like, if everyone did that, just how different would everything, not just sports, but just everything in general. If that was your mentality to take a trash bag with you to a freaking game
Yeah.
and clean it up afterwards, how much different would the world be if people did that stuff?
Yeah, it just
You know?
and it's a little thing too, like just picking up one piece of trash. If 1,000 people go to the same beach and everyone picks up one piece of trash, that's 1,000 pieces of trash that isn't there at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Probably saving lots of animals and just making everywhere look beautiful. Whereas nowadays it seems like everyone's all about like leaving a mark, you know what I mean? Like putting a tag on something or just leaving shit behind. It's just
Yeah.
it's
Be like,
it's
"I did that. That was me."
yeah.
Like,
Who
no,
wrote
that's not
the
why they're doing it, you know?
Jaeger after dark on a waterfall? A beautiful waterfall ruined by fucking Jaeger.
I would do it if there was a banana to burn.
Yeah, just like I just feel like human decency goes a long way, and I feel like as a selective people, like we should probably make it a conscious effort to do better.
Oh, I mean, yeah, for sure. And I mean, it also kind of makes you wonder if this is getting into like a national pride thing, right? Like pretty much anyone who knows anything about Japan knows that this is just kind of who they are as like people in general. Um,
Yeah.
and that alone is good, but it's like, is there a point where it goes from healthy like that we see there to where it becomes toxic? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And that it could be a very real thing. You know what I mean? Like where you'll see it. I'm not going to name any fucking countries or anything like that because I don't want to piss anybody off. But we both come from Europe, so we understand how they are. I guess is the best way to say it. So I mean, like, they'll sit there and make it seem like they're trying to be like genuine or even kind in the way that they do it, but they're very much like kind of like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, why are you so stupid? Why aren't you like us? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And
Yeah.
that's because, and to me, that's a national pride thing. It really is. You'll even see it like in places that are currently warring, for example, that they've started being called like Nazis for like lack of a better term. They're actually calling these people that. And it's just like, I mean, technically, I guess you're right because they're all about like save this country, but you know, and that's where it kind of gets toxic, really, when you think about it. Because like the people that I'm specifically referring to, they both speak the same language. At one point in time, they were the same place. You know what I mean? It wasn't that long ago. So and now they're warring with each other and have been for a while. I guess is the only other context clue I'll give. And they're
A
very
long
much
while.
yeah, dude, and they're very much, like, super toxic towards one another, and granted, it's a war, I get it to a degree, but, I mean, there used to be a time I mean, like, think about World War II. World War II, you had, like, the Germans stopped fighting I think it might have been the British, I can't remember, but they stopped and actually shared Christmas together.
Oh yeah, it was the British. Yeah, they climbed
Yeah,
out of their
so
foxholes on Christmas morning, shared
yeah,
gifts with the enemy,
yeah,
in no man land, and gave each other gifts. The next day, they continued to shoot at each other. Um,
yeah,
you wouldn't see that nowadays, honestly.
fuck no, but, like, most of the time, you don't have, like, 2 similar cultures going at it anymore,
Yeah.
unlike the one that I just mentioned earlier, obviously, they've been going at it for a while, but it also, to me, it just you can really delve like into like the military side of this as well when you're looking at like a sports team that's got fan base like this, like military units versus sport teams, like why they have that same like tribal mentality, I guess, for lack of better words. And it really helps like kind of answer the question like why humans do naturally form tribes. You know what I mean?
Mm.
It's not just to keep each other safe, but you typically form with like-minded individuals.
Yeah, like the tribe of UK nation.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, exactly. Like, how many people in the UK nation, for example, like, have been better just by simply joining the UK nation?
Mhm.
I mean, you have people that are always there, like hitting us up, on our streams and whatnot, which is really cool. But to us, the thing that means more is like one of them, for example, having the first UK nation baby.
Oh
Like to
yeah,
us, that was way bigger than anything that they could have done by coming into the stream. We
yeah, yeah.
appreciate the support and stuff, but like for us, it felt like we gained another family member. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And that's how we always act. I mean, like every time either of them show up, we talk about how they are doing, and more specifically, how our little girl's doing. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
we don't say their little girl.
yeah.
She's one of
That's ours.
ours.
I mean,
Yeah,
there's argument and debate going around that it is in fact even one of ours, but
yeah,
we don't know.
yeah.
Jaeger. So tell me about that reset button.
Oh, well, I mean, that's kind of like so for me, like the big thing with the reset, the reason why I wanted this to be my topic is a lot of people see starting over, whatever it might be, as like failure. You know what I mean? And that's why I really wanted to talk about it, because I felt like it'd be perfect for this first episode, not just like it kind of elaborates on, what I had mentioned earlier, but the main focus for me was like when you're transitioning from the military, or you're having to switch careers, becoming a father, or reinventing yourself at however old you are, all of that. And it really kind of sort of veers more towards males than it does females. And that might be because, I'm not a female. I haven't been one for a few years since the transition. So I'm trying to like talk about like what females deal with versus like what males deal with. It's
It
not
hasn't
something
been
I
that
really
long. It hasn't been
yeah,
that long.
yeah. It's been long enough though, it's been long enough. But so for me, I wanted to specifically talk about that starting over isn't failing. I don't have a news clip or anything like that, like you had or anything like that. But I just wanted to get your, perspective on it, because for one, we both have transitioned out of the military.
Mm,
And like for me, I went from active duty into the guard, which was
mm,
already confusing enough. And then from the guard into the civilian world, which just made everything super chaotic. And then I've done career changes in the past, like right now doing the director of finance and operations, very time consuming job, you know. Whereas like when I was working at, we'll just say a vet clinic to make it easy, all I was doing there was like scheduling and talking to customers, and making sure that their pets were taken care of the way that they wanted them taken care of and they expected, you know. But it's two very different worlds. You know what I mean? Like even in the military, when I was doing operations for the military, they were tactical operations in the tactical operations center. So
mm,
like dealing with that and transitioning into the civilian life, it was it was easier for me, I feel like, because I had that experience in the talk, to be able to transition. Like, granted, I'm not firing rounds down range or anything like that, but it's still not that different in my mind. But a lot of people don't see that connection, that correlation. And because effectively both of them at the end of the day are both just logistics. So why I wanted to bring up the talking point to you was because you've also been in the service. You've also had a transition. And granted, you transitioned into a bomb ass job, if you ask me, but like, you got that. And you're transitioning just with your personal life, different things that had happened where you went from being full time to being part time, so you could chase that dream of being, a streamer slash content creator.
mm.
And that's why I want to bring it, because effectively what you did was reinvent yourself at 30 plus years old.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's a big
Yeah.
thing, I think, for a lot of the listeners slash viewers.
So I mean, there's a couple of talking points, and I'll pause between them to give you like an input, so you can add to or whatever in between each one.
Yeah,
So like the first thing I'll say is like you said, resetting isn't necessarily restarting over or starting at the beginning, right? Because usually when you go through like a trial or a tribulation or whatever you want to call it, you've gained that mental knowledge on how to collect yourself or what not to do the next time, right? It's like getting your hand smacked by your daddy. Never happened to me, but Jaeger happily smacks my hand now. So,
yeah, not
um,
just in thing.
so I mean, like divorce, for example. I've been through two now, but divorce, like, it feels miserable. It's one of those things. Like, yeah, you feel like you're starting over, and like everything you've aimed towards, you failed at. But at the same time, man, you've gained so much knowledge. Um, and every time you're like with someone, you always kind of reinvent yourself anyways. But like the best advice or best thing I can say is move forward, keep true to yourself, and keep pushing forward. It's not a beginning. It's a start of a new chapter. It's not the start of the book. It's just the next
Right.
chapter.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's kind of the thing too, man. You don't reload because you failed. You're
Yeah.
reloading because you're going back into the fight,
Yeah,
right?
you're gonna
So I mean,
continue.
yeah, exactly. That's 100% like, yeah, divorce sucks. Been there, done that. I understand, like, and it does suck. But at the same time, a lot of your mentality is going to break down how you view things just in general. That's why,
Mm,
like, you meet, like, like people of the Buddhist faith, for example, are typically very optimistic. You know what I mean? No
yeah.
matter what the situation is. And that's just because of their mentality. You know what I mean? Their faith has a lot to do with that mentality. I'm not saying it doesn't, but it is focally their mentality that makes that decision. Their faith doesn't necessarily tell them to always be happy and optimistic.
I just can't
It's
get
just
behind someone who doesn't eat a cheeseburger though.
um, yeah, well,
Cow tastes good.
it is it is what it is, man, but there's something beautiful in that as well, that they won't do that because of like the respect for life, and that's cool. Their mentality is the reason, though, in my opinion, why they succeed when they do encounter anything that is like a true trial or tribulation, because they could just sit there and fucking wallow in their own self-pity and be like, oh man, I screwed this up and now it's all my fault and now I'm never going to date someone again, which we both know is not fucking true, you
Yeah.
know. Um,
Yeah.
and they
Next
just leave it at
weekend,
that.
you're gonna be in the fucking bed with someone and go, "Oh, what did I do?"
Yeah.
It
You're
was an
probably gonna regret that
accident.
just as much. Yeah, right. I fell 37 times. Well, 3 times.
Two, if you're
2 or
mean,
3
you
times,
know.
But that's what I mean, like, it comes down to, like, the mentality of the person, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So, that's just what it depends on, like, because you can sit there and take, like, myself and my wife, Caitlin, for example, she's always like, "How are you always in such a good mood?" Man, like, in my opinion, dude, there ain't nothing in this civilian world that can happen that didn't happen to me in the military. I get to go
Oh
home
yeah.
at the end of the day of my shift, no matter how fucking long it could be a 23-hour shift, whatever.
Yep.
Like, how many days did you do 3 days straight? You know what I mean? Like, like, okay, so, I gotta work 23 hours, big deal,
Oh,
you
I
know?
didn't sleep much. Like,
What yeah, dude,
welcome to
whatever
my
it is,
life.
yeah, every fucking day, which that'll get into a whole different topic, like the mentality and stuff. I don't want to start that because you know how I get with that shit.
All right.
I'll
So
let you
and then
continue.
the next part is like getting out of the military. It's a whole new world transitioning into like the civilian life from the military, going from a life full of structure, a set way of things. Like everybody knows 6:30 in the morning, you're working out. Come freaking 9 o'clock, you're at work busting your ass. And then you don't get off until who knows when. Because at the end of the day, I mean, you're on the clock 24/7. They can call you in at 1 a.m. if they wanted to. But
Yeah.
transition into like the civilian world, where there's zero structure, it's hard for a veteran. And I will say,
Yeah.
like, it doesn't sound like a big change, but for a veteran who for the most part, most veterans got in the military at a super young age, 17, 18, maybe 19. That's like the average age for people to join the military, straight out of high school or even before high school's even over, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
So all they know is the military and all they know is structure. And then they get let out loose and there's no structure, nothing to kind of guide them in the right direction. It's hard.
Yeah, man. I mean, it killed me too. I think I told you this already, but like, it took me like 6+ years after getting out of active duty before I stopped saying the Soldier's Creed and NCO's Creed.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like every fucking morning, as I'd work out, I'd be saying them. You know?
There's still times I'm singing freaking cadence in the shower, bro.
Yeah, yeah, yellow bird, baby. But anyway, like I mean, it's just one of those things that the transition is hard. It's hard no matter what you're transitioning from, though. Like careers,
Mhm.
military, divorce into a new relationship, whatever. It's hard no matter what you do.
Yeah.
So it really
So
just
hard.
kind of comes down to like how you face it that really matters.
Yeah.
Like for me, I didn't accept it, and to be fair, I was still in the guard, right? So like I transitioned, quote unquote, but I just wasn't active anymore. I did
Yeah,
it,
yeah.
once a week or once a month rather, for drills, and we had like our 2-week summer camps, which was a lot of fun. But they that kind of helped keep me into it. And then when I transitioned into the security field and started doing private security and executive protection and whatnot, um, I was still wearing a suit. I was still wearing a uniform. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Even if I was like doing EP, for example, where I had to be like quote unquote business casual, it was still this is the uniform. And that alone helps a lot because like we had talked before we even started this, for me anyway, transitioning really helped having structure that I was already used to. So I still woke up at 4:30 and I still did my
Yeah.
shit, still did my workouts and stuff. So, and for anyone that's like living with a veteran, sometimes you just kind of need to like help them see it through themselves. Not necessarily sit there and be like, stop saying the soldier's creed, stop saying the NCO creed, stop
Yeah.
being a soldier. Don't say that. Just help them work it out themselves. Like, well, couldn't you start like focusing on this now? Since you're out, couldn't you start working on this? But
And
that's where I'm at with that.
and then anybody who's worked with a veteran before, I'm sure they've noticed like a certain mentality of like there's certain veterans you can watch and they have to be given guidance through each step of something. It's because usually they are a set list of rules or steps that you have to follow, whereas in the civilian world there isn't any of those. So transitioning for some people is really hard. Like I work with one guy now and I hear it takes the piss out of me, but it's because he has no like mental capacity to restructure or reset
Mhm.
himself after each task. Like he'll start doing something and then you have to tell him to do something else or to move on. It's a hard transition for a lot of people.
Especially for lower enlisted, I bet you he probably was too.
Yeah.
You know, and you hit that E5 era, that's when you start to like see people who can.
Yeah, those are the
I don't want
people
to say
who are
think outside the
giving the
box.
next step, you know?
Yeah, exactly. You know, and that's so that individual more than likely just hasn't like freed themselves from that E4 mafia mentality. You know,
Exactly, yeah.
it's a hard
Daddy
thing to
needs to
transition.
tell me what to do.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go sit at the smoke shack for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
Exactly, man.
And smoking is where it all starts, is in the military. Goddamn.
And it's funny too, because someone will join and they've never smoked a cigarette before, but they'll pick it up just so that they can go to the smoke shack. You know,
Yes.
like they're
Done it.
not even smoking a cigarette; they just got one in their hand. You know.
Yeah. What are you doing? Taking a smoke break, Sergeant.
Oh, it's not late. Get your ass over here. That's that's where I'd be
Shit.
with that. Yeah.
So I mean, and another thing too, like with the way the world is changing now, everything's changed. Like we as a people rely solely too much on like AI now. And you think about it, like we and you were talking the other day. I don't Google nothing anymore. I don't Google nothing. If I have a question, I go to Chat GPT and I type in, how do I fix my blank blank blank? How do I fix my 3-pump chump?
Yeah.
And Chat
Yeah.
GPT will give me a list of answers. It's taken over our lives, dude. It's just ridiculous.
I mean, yeah. I mean, well, like, there's people that like a lot of people like view it as a tool, like yourself, right?
Mhm.
And even I, you know, I'll utilize it
I
now
don't
after
view
you
it
showed
as a
me that
tool.
shit.
I don't view it as a tool. I view it as somebody else is doing the work for me.
That's a tool when you think about it. You know what I mean? Like even like your E4s as an E5, you'd utilize them like a tool. You would take care of them, mind you. Like you always made sure they were eating, that their all of their fucking deer stuff was right. You did so much shit for that person as an E4, but at the end of the day, they were effectively your hammer. They were effectively your wrench. You know, because you can't be in 11 or 12 different places. But if you got 11 or 12 E4s and below, you sure as shit can be. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
that's
Maybe not as
fair.
accurately, but you know that's what I meant by tool. You know, like I'm not calling people tools necessarily,
I
but they
am.
are when you think about it
I am.
effectively.
I am.
Yeah. So, but there's people who
I'm
see it as
the
a tool.
hammer, the E4 is the chisel.
Yes, exactly.
I'm
So
gonna
they like
carve out the work.
they'll see it as like a tool. Some people see it as a threat, like replacing their jobs, replacing art and music, you know,
Mhm.
and whatnot. And some people see it as like the next like industrial revolution, if you will. You know, like it's the next phase. You know, we went from like the modernization that we have today, basically due because of like the whole Civil War thing, right? Like that's the whole thing that the Civil War was really fought about. So like now when people view it that way, I don't really know where I sit personally with that. I think that if you don't use it responsibly, then there is a chance that it could be like I saw this one article that was talking about how this thing went through and like was explaining how it was going to end this one individual and mankind as a whole because they've been talking to it so regularly. You know what I mean? So like now granted, I'm sure the prompt was like, how would you kill us all, you know, or some shit like that.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
but but that's effectively like what had happened. It's not like it just randomly decided, well, you know, I'm gonna tell you exactly what I'm gonna do to you before they turn it off. And they did turn it off, which I don't know if that really means anything. Like, is it actually off? Is it just acting like it's off, you know? And
Yeah.
where it gets into the threat model.
I mean, when you think about it, though, like humans as a civilization are naturally a lazy people. And when
Oh
it
yeah.
comes down to it, we're always looking for that short direction that gets us somewhere really fast that we have to do the least amount of work. And now we
Mhm.
have AI to pick up the slack. All it's going to do is make us as a people a lot more lazier.
Well, so if AI existed when you and I were kids, right? Like my
I
daughter's
wouldn't have done
ages,
shit in school.
would we be smarter or would we be lazier? And
Well, it
there's a
depends.
very clear difference,
It
you
it
know?
depends though. It depends on how you use AI, I think, because let's say you're using it to solve a problem. If you just looking for the answer, it's not going to make you smart. It's going to make you dumber because you're not trying to figure out how to figure out that problem next time. Now,
Right.
if you ask it a question, and it has step by step instructions on how it came up with that answer, and you read
Shows you
through
the
each step,
formulas, everything.
then yeah, you're going to become smarter. But I would say 60-70% of people probably don't even give a shit about how the answer was a thing.
Yeah, and
I've
that's the
been that
problem.
thing too. Like there's times when I would try to fix streaming issues, and I would read through, but I read through because I need to know for the next time. So in that sense, it would make me smarter. But if I'm just looking for a simple answer to a question that I don't know the answer to, then it's not really making me smarter because I don't know how the answer came about.
Exactly, and that right there is exactly what I was trying to get to. The difference between using AI as a tool versus becoming dependent on it. You
Yeah.
know, there are going to be times where we're going to do that, right? Like if I'm in a crunch or whatever with one of my things, I'm trying to do a meeting. Instead of me doing all the fucking math that I need to do, I would just
Yeah.
be like, "Here's the information. Give me the answer. No fluff." You
Yeah.
know, and it will.
But
So, which helps a lot.
yeah, but there's also a difference too because you already know how to get the answer, but you just want to shorten your workload.
Yeah,
Whereas like some people don't know how to get the answer, but they're using it to just get the answer.
yeah, and I think that's where it really becomes like being lazier versus smarter. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So, but yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Like, I would say, like, one of the interesting things too is like the threat portion of all of this. You know, like I've seen fucking Terminator. I get where it comes from or whatever,
Mhm.
but I don't really see yet anyway, and maybe not even in our lifetime. But with as fast as it's growing, maybe it will. But like how it could ever get to the point of like Skynet, for example, like people talk about, is always their example. You know, um,
Well, think about it like this though. Somebody implements it into a business and then it starts programming computers and computers realistically run the world. Every
oh
computer's
yeah,
interlinked, whether you think it is or not. My
yeah,
computers right now is connected to probably a billion other computers, and they're all
yeah,
communicating in some way, shape, or form. You implement an
yeah.
AI in there, they can get any information they want and implement it any way they want. There's
Yeah,
not an immediate threat, but down the road, there's a lot of potential.
yeah, so it's, it's becoming the threat that people thinks that it is, and that's, like, I guess that's what's kind of exciting about it, in its own way. Not necessarily that it's becoming a threat, but that, like, we don't know what it's gonna be.
I
We don't
wanted
know what it is
zombies
getting
though.
into. Yeah, oh, 100%. I would take I mean, come on, dude, headshots over, like,
Yeah,
trying to get into some fucking
yeah,
core component system and ripping that shit out? Yeah,
yeah.
any day.
I know what my CPU looks like. I don't know how to make one.
Right. Exactly, dude. Exactly. That's kinda where I'm at with that, but it does make it kinda sort of transitions into my next talking point, unless you have something else that you wanted to go over with this one in particular.
No,
But,
no.
so I say that it relates because it's like my next one really is like the military life in general, the things that people just get completely wrong, a lot of the times. And that's kind of where we're sitting at with the AI thing. So that's why I feel like it's just a good natural transition into it. Um, but I mean, effectively, like what people believe right now, like just if people were sitting here chit chatting with us on the stream, right? Because we are streaming this for those who are just listening, we are streaming this over on Twitch. So say someone comes in, they're going to see two veterans. They're immediately going to assume specific things, right? So, like
We're
every
both
veteran has
gay.
PTSD. Yeah, well, probably every veteran has
Oh,
PTSD. Like military life is all guns and explosions. Veterans are all hyper political. Basic training turns you into a robot, and the military solves all your problems, which we both know isn't the case.
yeah.
But like like getting and identifying like the truths of those things, I think is going to be a lot more important than making trying to force people to believe it. You know what I mean? Like the I think to a degree, every veteran has the potential to have PTSD for sure. I mean, even if they just go through basic training for like someone like me who grew up on a slaughter ranch, it's not weird when you see crazy hardcore shit. But someone who comes from like the city who never fired a rifle before in his life, um, who never had to do the working out and all that stuff, it could be a lot, and waking up with some dude with a big old giant hat yelling at you, you know what I mean?
And a
Like
big
at
ball
random
sack.
intervals. Yeah, dude. Like, I mean, hats off to all drill sergeants, by the way. You guys are y'all are fucking heroes in my opinion. But 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 like I think that there is truth really in all of that, right? Like military life is all gun and explosions, blah blah blah. Like, yeah, it can be, but think about your 42 alphas, your little admin pencil pushers. They
Yeah.
still go to the range, I know that. They still throw a grenade at one point
Yeah, but
usually.
do they though, really?
But really, how often do they do? Like, it's not like where like you and I would be going out, every fucking Friday was our range day. We would go out every fucking Friday and go shooting. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It's not like that for like 90, probably more than that percent of like MOSs or jobs in the military. For those who don't know,
Yeah,
um,
a lot of people in the military, it's like their sole purpose is to shoot. And then you got those ones who the sole purpose is just office jockey. It's just what it is.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like any other job. You know what I mean? Like any other job. The military really is just like any other job. There is a brotherhood. Okay, that's real. We all know that's real. The dark humor, we all know that's real, and we know why they do it.
Because Marines are retarded.
You know, I mean, yeah, it is what it is. You know, sometimes they just need the purple crowns. But most service members are just normal people doing weird jobs. You know what I mean? Like really, it's like it's no different. Like when I transitioned out, like I found a lot of police officers, for example, that I could click with, even though they were never in the service. Now I
Yeah.
know that they're paramilitary, like the way that they're structured and stuff. But like you know, I'd have problems like right out the gate just because of the way I looked and stuff with police officers, right? Because a shaved head dude walking around with the fucking German scowl that I wear, you know, like looks like a guy who's up to no good. You know what I mean?
I mean,
So I get that a lot.
I'm still waiting for that moment that I can be right.
So, you know,
I'm
but I mean,
watching
but,
you.
but like the simple truth that like to me is like again, like the brotherhood is real, dark humor is real. Most service members are just normal people doing weird jobs, and that the military gives you structure, but it doesn't fix broken people.
No.
Okay, and not just because you join the service doesn't mean that like now all of a sudden you're broken. A lot of times people are already kind of quote unquote broken when they move in. So
Yeah.
I guess what I would ask you specifically is like, what is one thing you think that civilians think about the military life that is just absolutely absurd?
It's a tough cookie to crack right there. I will start
It
off
is.
by saying I made a Marine joke. Yeah. We love every branch. There's no branch that we hate. We all just talk crap. All right. I love you, Marines. Kind of. But I mean, we love everybody but the Air Force. But no, you know, we're all brothers and sisters at the end of the day. And I guess like one of the main things I would say is probably that the military is a bunch of robots. And I don't like I guess from the outside looking in, we probably do look like robots because we're marching around in sync doing this fucking shit with our arms.
Yeah, or
Looking
ants at
like
the very least.
jackasses, yeah. And then
Yeah,
following every order, right? But see,
yeah,
the thing that most people don't realize about the military is you can refuse a command as long as it's an unlawful or unethical, right? So I mean, if you tell me to go stomp on freaking Jaeger's face, I'm probably gonna not do it. Maybe,
maybe.
because it's unethical, right? Like that's an unlawful order. Like I'm not gonna stomp on Jaeger's face because
Yeah,
someone told me to. I might
right.
do it because
Yeah.
I want to.
Yeah, just for like some clarity here, the reason why you keep saying it this way is because we do have stuff. I don't know if every branch does, but in the Army we have what's called a wall-to-wall counseling. So
Mm,
if me and UK had a problem with one another, we could just walk into a
shut
fucking
the
room,
door.
take the ranks off, and whoever walked out, you know, standing upright was the one who got a free beer that day.
Hell
You know,
yeah.
that's those do exist. That's why he keeps saying that. Like, is it a lawful order? It's not technically a lawful order to say that, but the chances of that happening, whether it was given as an order or not,
It's
are
usually
pretty high.
it's usually an agreement between two people, right? Like
Right.
usually if you're a lower enlisted and you have a beef with someone, at the end of the day, like there's really no way you're going to be able to fix that. And you have
Yeah,
this pent up anger and rage. You've got to have an output for it. And I would say that's probably the best way. At the end of the day, you're going to come out of the room and be better. I mean, there's still going to be a rank system involved after the fact, but during that moment, it allows you to just release all your stress.
just handle it mano a mano, you know? And
Hmm.
that's you can't do that in the civilian world. I mean, people probably say that you could or whatever, but like the
God, I
second
would
that you do
love
that,
to though.
yeah, dude, I know, I
Just
know.
walk
But
in
like the
there with
worst
my
case
boss and
scenario
just
for
shut that
you,
door. Mm,
yeah, but the worst case scenario for you versus like in the military life is way graver, way higher, a much more risk than what you have in
yeah.
the middle. Like at worst case scenario, if you got into like with an E8, for example, I got into it as a young E5 with an E8 who called one of my soldiers a word that you shouldn't. It was a racial slur. And we got into it, right? We did a wall-to-wall counseling. I took it too far. I really did. It was an accident though. Like it was an accident, but dislocating his jaw. Um, and that was just with me simply putting pressure on his jaw. I wasn't trying to. You know, it was just to keep him down so I didn't actually hurt this guy, and he kept fighting it, and it happened. So I got in trouble. I got an RD-15 and everything for that.
Mm,
When it was supposed to be, you know, just mano a mano thing dealing with the problem. But out in the civilian world, like I'd have got jail time, if not prison time for that. You know what I mean?
mm.
So yeah, I got a talking to from the commander, got a talking to from the first sergeant. He actually got demoted. The guy did. twice. He got dropped down to E6, which I still feel like was too high, but whatever. Uh, anyone who knows the NCO creed would know why I say that. But that is what it is. But like RD15, Article 15, for those who don't know, I mean, all it was is effectively is like, hey, you did this fucked up thing. It's going to go in your jacket, right? Like it's your folder, for example, like an example, for with their HR, if you will, and you're going to get docked a month's pay, or at least it was for me. They can kind of change that however they want. But I was also, I wasn't stateside, so I couldn't even go to an ATM. You know what I'm saying? So I really didn't care. And I think that's why they did it, was just kind of like a slap on the wrist. I remember it was my first one too that I got, and my first art was just like, "Hey, don't feel bad about this." It's like I never met an NCO that was worth his salt that didn't have at least one or two Article 15s, you know. And I got to thinking about that after he said that. I was like, "Yeah, man, almost everyone of them that I've like respected and looked up to, all of them have an Article 15." And
I thought I
the
just
same.
liked bad boys.
Yeah, yeah. But anyway, that's kind of where I was at with it, you know. Like that's why I was curious what your thoughts were with like where we sit with that when it comes to like the rights and wrongs of the military life that
Yeah.
civilians get usually completely wrong.
I mean, there's a lot though, really. Like at the end of the day, like a lot of people probably think that military people go home and they're still robots when they're home. Like there wasn't really. I mean, yeah, when I got home, there was like a lot of structure that I needed. So I
Yeah.
needed things to be organized in a certain way. I still needed my uniforms ironed and whatever. But when I got home, like I was, a very soft, loving person. I still like to have fun. But I mean, there was a lot of things I just couldn't do mentally, that I wanted to do. Is I couldn't ever fully relax, but I was still had the capability of having fun, getting drunk and floating down a river. Like that was no big deal. Like my personal life was my personal life at the end of the day. My military life is separate. It's still essentially it's a 9 to 5, but it's a 12 to 12, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it really is too, you know. And I think that a lot of people like don't understand like what we mean when we say like actually relax. You know, like my moments when I got out, especially of active duty, was just having a scotch on the back patio and eating some cherry tomatoes that I grew myself. That was my only time that I could really float down the river, so to speak. But you're still always kind of alert, I guess, to the fact that you are a soldier, even though you're not
Yeah.
wearing the uniform all the time. You're still kind of alert to it. Like if someone walked into a bar, you and I were sitting there, even right now with all these years of us being out, we would probably still go to attention if someone called it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and that's why this happened to me. I don't know if this ever happened to you, but like that's happened to me in the past where like someone just walked in to do it and just did it just to do it, and then he bought all of us fucking rounds of alcohol because he's like, those are service members. Like,
Yeah, and it's one of those things too. Like I think I would still do it, but I wouldn't know I did it. Like it would just happen, you know. I'd be like,
yeah, it just
"The fuck am I
exactly.
doing? Why am I
Yeah, why did I
standing?"
do this? Yeah, exactly. You know, and there's like no reason for it. You can't help it, but it's ingrained in you. And I think that's why so many people think that we're robots because, well, I mean, but really, it's no different than like someone else at home, for example, say you spill your fucking spaghetti plate,
Yeah.
right? What are you gonna do next? You're gonna do exactly what you know you should do,
Ask your
which
mom to
is
clean it up.
ask your mom to clean it up. Exactly. Thank
Oh,
you.
I mean,
Okay.
no, you should be
But when you're
cleaning up.
you should be, but we're talking about civilians here who half the time aren't going to do this shit. You know, like so I'm just saying, like, and even like speaking to the dudes specifically from like my experience anyway, there's very few dudes that were not in the service that are going to clean up after themselves.
Yeah.
I've noticed that with almost every single friend of mine that was never in the service where I walk in and be like I think the room that's behind me right now is dirty. Doesn't look like it to you guys, but to me, it's fucking dirty. It hasn't been dusted, hasn't been vacuumed. I didn't have time to do all that shit before we got in here because I was working prior to this, you know, and I'll be working afterwards too, which going back to the whole fucking military thing, flicking those switches, dude, that's difficult, you know, and that's what gets triggered a lot of times when you see an individual having like a PTSD episode or anything like that.
I'm triggered by
You
the
know?
word triggered.
Exactly.
My eye twitched when you said it. I was like, and touching on the same thing too is like, being in the military, I think like your first thought when you walk into a room full of people is, where's the nearest exit? How many of these people can I take out before I have to give up? Who's the strongest person in the room? Like,
Yeah.
the way you look at things is just different. Like, if I walk into a room, there's 5 people in there. I think to myself, where's the fastest means to escape? And then
Mhm.
if shit hits the fan or someone in here means me harm, who do I have to take down first?
Yeah, I mean, well, we use threat assessments is what it is.
Yeah,
And you're
essentially,
trained
yeah.
for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're trained for it. You can't help it. Like you walk, like I know you do this just like I do. When I walk into a restaurant, the first thing I'm doing is seeing who has fucking plates that have knives, like steak knives on.
Yeah.
It's the first thing I'm doing.
Yep.
Then I'm looking for any bulge in a weird place, right? Like if dude's got a boner, not that kind of bulge. But like, does the dude have a fucking, EDC on him? You know what I mean? And if he does and he's wearing it on the outside, he's probably not a threat. If he does and he's wearing it on the inside, he could be a threat. You know what I mean? Like, but I'm also that guy who's walking around with a concealed EDC. So, like you have to
EDC
kinda,
is
like, go
everyday
through
carry for you guys that don't know. He's probably
Oh, sorry.
packing heat.
Yes, probably. And does that mean he's a bad guy? No, but it does mean that he has a weapon and it could be a potential threat. But it also means he could be a potential ally and a threat. You know what I mean? So, like just knowing your position and where you're at. And that's why you see so many veterans will sit like in a corner, right? They'll never have their back to an entrance. Almost never, especially if they're a combat vet, you won't see them with their back to an entrance. Like I have a hard time with the back to the entrance of like the kitchen,
I can't
let
have
alone the outside world.
I can't have my back to another person that I don't know. Like someone walks behind me, I have to step back so they're walking in front of me.
Yeah, well, it's even in this room here, man. This is the room that I work in, for my 9 to 5, so to speak. And even in here, even with the kids and Caitlin being home and everything, the animals that can alert me to anything, that door still stays locked. It still stays locked. I
Yeah.
can't help it. And my
They're gonna
sidearm,
take
which I
them
want to show,
first.
is right here. Exactly. And I'll hear something. Something will cue me up. You know what I mean? And I've got my sidearm right here to be able to walk right out there and go handle business. You know. But even doing that for the longest time, having that door behind me stressed me the fuck out. Even with it locked,
Yeah.
it just did. It just did.
I mean,
But-
there's times too when like I'm sitting in here and like I have a freaking like ghillie costume that I wore on a stream once, and it's hanging on
Yeah.
my door to this day. And there's times where
Yeah.
I'll like see it in the corner of my eye and I'm like,
Right, because like the wind
motherfucker.
blew or something. Yeah, like whatever.
I'm always
It is what
ready
it
to
is.
go for that door, but it's not truly at my back though either. It's like parallel to me, so like I
Well,
get
that
away
almost
with
makes it
that.
worse.
Well, I can side eye that motherfucker, you know what I mean? But what makes it worse is when the love of my life comes up behind me and decides to scare the fucking shit out of me when I am not.
Yeah, but
paying
that's just
attention.
hilarious.
That's
just
not.
hilarious.
She's lucky to be alive.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I'm
that's kind of an
packing
interesting
heat
point
right
too.
here.
Yeah, it's kind of an interesting point too for me as well, like because it really kind of touches like on what our next topic is, I guess, but like the relationships and friendships that are built, like when it comes to, and we're talking about like in the gaming world specifically, if memory serves, like the focus of that anyway is about like the gaming builds for like real friendships and like when really what the hell happened to gaming in general, but like. We met, for example, online, and we become brothers effectively for all intents and purposes. Like my kids call you Uncle UK. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I mean, like we're effectively like family at this point, and it really in what like 4 years ish, give or take.
Yeah.
And I guess for me, like the reason why it transitions into that is specifically because of talking about Abyss and how she's like jump scaring you effectively. The relationship that was built between you and I built me into a relationship with the individual we were talking about earlier, both of them and their daughter, Abyss, our relationship. Like I can text her right now and, she might call me a whore or whatever, but she'll still say, I love you back. You know what I mean?
She will call you a whore.
Yeah. She's going to call me a bald whore, but that's just
Because
the
you're always
relationship that we
stealing me from her.
Yeah. Yeah. So who's the real whore, by the way? I'm just going to throw that out there. I'm just saying.
I have
if
standards, okay? I have
Yeah,
standards.
sure you do. Obviously not high standards. Clearly.
Come here, let me give you a head scratch here.
Just get the little head scratching. But yeah, they that's to me that's why it's a good segue into that next topic, really. And it's a 2-part topic, I know that, but like and I'm jumping into the second half, but like what it becomes to me is why gaming communities, like why they matter. You know what I mean? Like what it's done. Like think about like the health stuff that I'm not going to get into on here because everyone who needs to know knows. But all the health stuff that I went through, if I didn't have the support that I got from the UK nation, my friends / family in the UK nation, it would have been, I'm not going to say impossible, but so much harder for me to get through the things that otherwise required all of my attention,
Yeah.
and and it helps a lot too having like other military individuals and stuff like that get into it, and there's a group that I'm not going to plug or anything like that, but there's a group that's actively going and trying to get military people like one place. And anyone who's alive and well out there in the streaming world knows the group that I'm talking about. They're very big. And that helps a lot because you have those individuals who can go to those smoke shacks, if you will, little VC channels in the Discord, and they can just have a place where someone else gets them, you know?
Regiment.
Yeah, I didn't say that, but they, you know, there's a group that's like that, and I'm sure they're not perfect, right? But they're a big group, and they're trying their best, you know. And I'm not like an active part of that group at all. I follow them, but I'm not an active part of that group at all for my own reasons. But it is, to me, it's a resource that veterans can use if they're not comfortable with joining the UK Nation, for example, or if they only want to be in a place with just other military people, you know, then that's a place that you could go to. That is a resource that you could go to help with all kinds of things, your VA stuff, all of that stuff, right? And the VA shit, as we all know, is a difficult and complex fucking system that you have to work yourself through.
Yep.
You know, so having some place that you can go to where these guys and gals know the steps that you need to do, or they've gone through what you've gone through to be able to get you to the steps you need to go through, even if it's not the VA, just in general. I mean, you see people all the time like getting each other jobs and shit in there, which is difficult for a lot of military people, you know, especially if they're like a combat arms, because it's hard to retrain, you know, someone to fit like a PD, for example, versus like a police department, for example, versus what they did in the infantry world, right? Two
Yeah.
completely different standards. You know, the idea is the same, but the way that they have to operate are completely different, you know? So I just think it's important. And the reason why I started with like, you know, the second part is just how gaming really has helped us through hard times, not necessarily physically alone, but like mentally, you know what I mean? Like I can get on into one of these discords and one of these conversations, and shortly after joining that, even if I'm by myself in there, someone else will pop in, maybe not to game with me, but they'll hang out,
Yeah.
you know? And then sometimes that's all you need when the night terror's it.
And I think honestly, I mean, yeah, night terrors. There's been times when like me or you, we don't sleep. We don't sleep a lot. But there's been times where you're like, "Hey, you still awake?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm pretty much always awake, man."
Pretty
Until
much,
I'm not.
you know?
But and then you just go blow some steam off, you know. But at the same time, you know, gaming, you meet people along the way who are, let's say, we're an acquired taste. Me and Jaeger,
Yeah,
like,
for
you
sure.
either like us or you don't
Or
like
yeah,
us.
like
I mean, there's no like in between. Like we're either it or we're not. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So I mean, it's one of those things. Like you either like it or you love it. You hate it, you don't, right? So you just gotta find the right people to do whatever it is to help you blow off steam. And me and Jaeger, like, he's my freaking was that anxiety dog?
I'm a service animal.
He's my service animal. Like,
Oh, what you're talking about a emotional support animal, right?
yeah, there you go. Jaeger's my
yeah.
emotional support animal. If I
Yeah.
need someone to just unwind, whatever, like I got Jaeger. I just messaged him. And that's what kind of makes like our community a little special in a way, is because we're all like-minded individuals. And we
Right.
talk so much crap to each other. Like there's times when you might tune in and you think I hate Jaeger. Or he
Yeah,
or he hates me. But
Yeah,
it's not true. I
It's
love
not.
that
It might-
bald motherfucker, dude.
It might look like it, but that's another thing too. That kind of goes back to like, you know, our other topic where like sometimes like we just talk shit just to talk shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, like it's never. I can't think of one time that we actually had like a no shit like argument or anything like that. It's never like that. We just do it because it does help sometimes, especially like when we're having like those night terror moments. You know, it does help with us being able to have that conversation, even though it might seem dark or toxic, because it just gets your mind off of whatever the fuck the night terror
Yeah.
was, you know what I mean? Or whatever PTSD structure that you're dealing with at the time, you know? And that's kind of what gets me to the next part, I guess, of the same topic, is like, what the fuck is wrong with gaming today? You know, like what's happened? Like, why do I see battle passes everywhere? First off, games releasing that are unfinished. I'm not against an early access or alpha, beta, anything like that. I'm not against those.
Well, there's
But
been a lot of them that we've played over the
Yeah.
years that have been like really, really good, and we just wished we'd got more out of them. But eventually, like with those guys, they kind of just fall.
yeah, for whatever reason, like, ah, that was good enough. We are 100,000 copies sold or whatever, you know what I mean? And it should, oh, and everything's like a live service now too, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Thankfully, you don't have like a whole bunch that are like paywalls anymore. Like that
Yeah.
was a really bad thing. I know they still exist, but they're not as bad as they were for a
Call
while
of
there.
Duty.
Yeah, well, they all switched to battle passes, right? So
Yeah.
now it's a little easier, you know.
I wonder
Um,
where did Battle Pass start?
I don't know.
Was
I
that like
kind
a
of feel like
Fortnite thing?
I feel like it was a Fortnite thing or maybe
Because
like a PUBG thing. I feel like it
because
was that, like
Fortnite
early
was
stage.
is probably still free to play, but there's a lot of like paying to get stuff. What do you
Yeah.
call that? Is it pay to win?
I don't know if it's really pay to win or not, or if it's, you know, I mean, it
Just
still has a
depends, right?
battle pass too. Yeah, I think it just depends on like how much you put into the game or whatever. But that's the thing though. No one's really taking risks anymore. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
when it comes to like these games coming out, right? Like we
Yeah.
played, and I don't know if we're against this or not, but I'm gonna plug it anyway. That sand game that we played that's so much like Sea of Thieves.
Oh yeah.
To me, the way that they built that game was a risky way to build the game. It's an exfil, so that's not very risky, right? Everyone's like loving shooter exfils right now.
I
But
will say though, I feel like it's a risky game, and I feel and playing the game, I feel like they knew that, and they. It seems like you remember when Star Wars came out as a movie, they started with Episode 4 instead of starting with
yeah,
Episode 1 because they wanted people to get people's attention. But the first movie was so low budget, and I feel like that's the same kind of thing with Sand Raiders. Is they held back a lot as well.
yeah, probably,
It's
probably.
it's a great game. The concept, love it. I'm just gonna say the full name. The Sand Raiders of Sophie is what we're talking about. It's made in Ukraine. Yeah, they've had a lot of issues over there, which we know. But
Mhm.
I feel like they held back a lot. The game isn't as polished as maybe as it should be. Maybe they're just too new. I don't know for sure, but I just feel like they held back a little bit.
Yeah, it is a bit clunky and stuff, but I just gotta say, like, when I see a game like that, for example, and even for the price that it is, by the way, I don't remember. I think it's like maybe 20 some odd
Yeah, it's like
bucks. It's not very.
19 something right now. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like, yeah, exactly. And it's a new game. It's the closest comparison really is Sea of Thieves in my opinion. When it comes to the game itself, like the way it's set up, I mean, you drop in, you got your ship, you go and you get your loot, and you fucking get the fuck out, right?
Mhm.
So it's kind of like that in a way, I guess, but like the reason why I find it so refreshing is like the corporate greed effectively has been killing creativity. Like Call of Duty, you mentioned, great example. I can't tell you how many real new maps even exist for Call of Duty in the most recent season because there
And
isn't.
let's say real new good maps
Yeah,
because
yeah,
there
they don't
isn't
even have to
fucking
be good
one
at
in the
this
last
point.
7 years.
Yeah, they don't even have to be good at this point. Like I'm just getting tired of seeing the same things, like
Mhm.
with a different paint job, dude. You know what I mean? Like what was Chinatown last season now all of a sudden is Little Mexico or some shit. This season, but it's the exact same thing. The stalls are in the same place, and
Yeah.
everything. It's the exact same. They just gave it a paint job, dude. You
How many
know?
times are you gonna
So
redo Nuketown?
yeah, dude. For
I think
fuck's
it's had
sakes,
6 fucking facelifts.
Yeah. I mean,
Facelifts.
yeah, at least probably. But it also gets like into like so like nostalgia goggles versus like actual problems, right? Like my favorite game of all time has always been Contra 3. I love Contra 3. The game is just a good, solid game, which is on Super Nintendo, by the way. And a Super Nintendo, for you younger folks, was how real men used to game.
Yeah.
So
You only had 4 buttons,
got 4 buttons.
and you
Don't
gotta
forget the
beat
cheat
that
codes.
game.
But no, like seriously though, like like games like that, they don't make them anymore, right? Like they're not.
Mhm.
There's some that have tried, I guess, but like that's the real problem, and why I say like nostalgia goggles versus the actual problems. Because like Call of Duty back in the day, right when you first got like the first Modern Warfare, even like I
Mhm.
mean, I would say even a Call of Duty Ghost was a fun, ever changing, ever evolving game. You
Imma
know,
say this,
uh,
though. During that time period, Ghost, compared to the rest of the Call of Duties, yeah, it might have been considered a flop. But
mhm.
if you compare it to, games that are out right now that Call of Duty have created, Call of Duty Ghosts is probably the best Call of Duty that's been out since then. There's not been
Yeah.
a good
Oh,
one.
I would 100% agree with you on that. Unless you're one of those people that really get into like that futuristic-y shit, in which case
Mm,
just go play Halo because that's where you belong. But
yeah.
it like when they did that stuff, I could not fucking stand it. Even like with the little grappling hook right now in the Warzone stuff, I don't like it
Yeah,
at
no.
all. Like,
Mm.
I
Grapple
mean,
hooks, I
I
won't
use
use
it.
them.
I use them because like if I don't, I'm fucking myself out. You know what I mean?
Mm.
But because I'm using that light machine gun all the time.
I don't
But,
like cartoony graphics either, man. Like
Yeah.
what is with Call of Duty coming out with like these comic book style war games? Like
Yeah.
Battlefield did
Yeah.
it right, but it's just too slow paced. Call
Yep.
of Duty did it wrong, and it's fast paced. It's like maybe they should just get together and like get on the same fucking page and make a
Yeah,
good
go
game.
have a baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, they probably should realistically, dude. Because like when it comes to shooters, man, they're not as strong as they used to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like in general, they're not. And the crazy part is, like, you think they would be getting better, but they actually just get worse. And then I found out not too long ago. I don't remember who. It might have been one of the guys in our community, Mr. DB Nerd, if you're listening. It's
Mhm.
you. I think it was you that said something about how they had fired like almost all of their creativity staff for map building. And it's like, well, no wonder you guys have a bunch of shit maps. You know,
Yeah.
like. You got rid of the guys whose sole purpose was to make these maps.
Yeah, but at the same
That-
time, those people whose sole purpose they've been failing for years.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I won't argue that.
I could spill my coffee on a piece of paper right now, draw a line around the spill, and come up with a better map than any of those Call of Duty maps. And I'm not even kidding. Like, what's that Battlefield map they came out with, dude? It's all dark as shit. It's just a continuous loop. And it was just like
Oh, you're talking about in the tunnels.
they're in front of you, they're behind you, and there's no fucking way you're getting out of it. It's just like the snake swallowing its own fucking tail over and over again. It's like
super fucking laney, dude. It's like, all right, are we playing Call of Duty? Are we playing Battlefield? Or are we playing like League of Legends or some shit? You know, like what is happening here? But you know, I mean, it is what it is. So like, even though like we live like a few thousand miles away, I think, and I'm not even 100% positive.
it's like 1,200, something like that.
Some like the strongest bonds, effectively, that you'll ever build really are going to be like while you're fighting like those digital wars, I guess, so to speak, together. Whether it's the Call of Duty or jumping in on that little trampler or crawler, whatever they call it in that sand game, whatever game it is that we get into, we can make any game fun because of who we are as individuals. And probably piss off whoever's playing with us, which is the goal 90% of the time, by the way. But
Eternal banana.
Yeah, but like in this, yes, the eternal flame, the flame of the eternal banana. They like you have so many connections that are made through not even streaming, even, but like just like through gaming. Like if you and I weren't streaming but ran into each other in Call of Duty, like we had, and as a side note, Chad, like we were both streaming when we met each other. But even if we weren't, we would have still like clicked. We still would have had that connection. You know what I mean? And we still would have been what we are today. You know what I mean? So, and when I say like fighting the digital wars, I don't just mean like Call of Duty or, you know, you're sitting there working together in like 7 Days to Die, which is another great game. And by the way, like 3.0 stable's out now. Still that out there. But if you're having like a struggle that, you know, even it doesn't even make sense, right? Like I dealt with like sleep paralysis and night terrors, for example, and I'm panicking or whatever, freaking out. And I've had this happen a few times more than I'd like to admit. I can reach out to UK here or other people, you know, from the UK nation or even other communities that I've become, you know, that I've befriended in this digital virtual world. And I have somewhere that I can go if, like, say, UK is also having his own problems or he's somehow magically got his sleep, you know. I can go somewhere and find that. And that's something that you don't really have in today's society, I don't think, because like social media and the access to everything. I mean, dude, like even like dating nowadays, like it's literally you go on an app and just swipe, right? I mean, something like that. And it's just like, I can tell you how I met my wife. I can tell you like how we became what we are today. And I feel like that story is far more interesting than, oh yeah, we met on Tinder or whatever, insert fucking dating app here.
Craigslist.
You know? Yeah, Craigslist. Is that still a thing? I thought they stopped all that.
I don't know. Craigslist is Craigslist even around anymore?
I don't know. I didn't think eBay was until the other day. So I mean, I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
But, you know. But anyway,
Just let
that's
go.
my piece about it. You know, like I guess my closer, if you will, for today's episode is, you know, people laugh when you say your best friend lives like 1,000 miles away, right? Which you do, you know. But some of the strongest bonds that I'll ever build just happened through fighting these digital wars together, whether be it in Warzone or our IRL bullshit that we're dealing with.
Also, some of you
know?
motherfuckers online need to take it easy on us, all right?
Oh,
We're having enough hard time, and now you guys are running around, jumping, sliding, and shit. Come on, man. Just come at me, shoot. I'll come at you and shoot, okay? 10 paces.
Yeah.
Get back to the basics. No fucking sliding, because that shit ain't real.
Yeah.
But
See who can reload their musket the fastest.
yes. So, but I mean, like, so that, yeah, I mean, essentially you touched it, but you touched everything.
I do.
The reason why we're doing this is to try and like build awareness for like military, and also incorporate like our civilian friends and just everyone around us, and try to build like a tight knit community where if you need to talk to someone, you always can, right? And it's important to make sure that you reach out and get the help that you need, right? So right here on the screen, there's a suicide prevention hotline. Make sure you guys use it if you need it, man. There's nothing to be ashamed of. I've used it myself. There's nothing wrong with it. Okay. If you need help, seek it. Don't fucking sit there and bottle it up. 988, call or text. I mean, it's that easy, man. It's 3 fucking numbers. It's almost the British emergency number, but we're just going to ignore that. Okay. But the reason why we're doing this is to make sure that everybody has a cool place to chill, a place to relax, and just listen to 2 dumbasses rant about shit that's going on in the world, right? I mean, me and Jaeger, we're probably the most down to earth people out there. We both have Discord channels. If you want to reach out to one of us, you're more than welcome to. I will 99% of the time I will answer you, as long as you're not trying to sell me some freaking art or something. I will make fun of you. I will embarrass you and tell you your art looks like shit.
Yeah.
I've done it to many people. I don't want to buy your fucking art, okay? AI's got me covered. We talked about that already. But yeah, we're gonna be doing this series every Wednesday. We're gonna try to keep it fresh, and we're gonna upgrade as we go along. So if you guys want to donate something to help support or like increase the quality of this, maybe get like a transition in between scenes and stuff, or you guys want to donate some art, you go ahead and knock it out and maybe we'll use it. All right. But we have a Discord open. You're more than welcome to join. Just search UK Reject on Twitch or Jaeger After Dark on Twitch. We both have the Discord link on there. Okay. But yeah, that's going to be it for today's episode. Right. Unless you got something else you want to add.
No. My last thing I was going to ask you, you just went over, man. It's effectively was like, if somebody listened to our podcast here for a year, what do you hope that they will walk away with? And I think that you covered that in your closing statement there.
Yeah, and if somebody wants to see some us talk about something specific in the future, go ahead and comment on this. Drop us a line wherever you can. Just mention it. And this is going to be on YouTube, Spotify. There's going to be clips of it down the road. If you want see some future stuff, you want to see us rant about something, we'll fucking rant about it. We'll rant about anything. We're pretty good at it.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna try to be like less political, but we're gonna do what we can. Okay. We're not really political people, but we're gonna try to leave that alone. So if it does get mentioned, probably gonna ignore you. Sorry. But we're gonna stick to what we want to talk about and the things that we're educated in. And we're gonna rant about whatever we want. Okay, unless you guys want to see something specific, go ahead and comment on there. But that's gonna do it. We're Reload and Reset. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. We'll see you next time.
See you next time. Hugs and kisses. Wear your seatbelt. Be safe. Don't do anything I would do.
Wrap it before you tap it.
Don't do that. That's lame.
See you guys next time. Bye.
Later. Bye.